Now, here's the second sign of gray hair. Take a look. Gray hair is also a sign of wisdom. I love how King Solomon puts this in Proverbs 20. He says, the glory of young men is their strength, gray hair, the splendor of the old. What is King Solomon saying? He's saying, hey, young people, they're known for their strength, but older people, they're known for their wisdom. In fact, have you ever noticed this, that every wise character in all the books and movies and stories, they always have gray or white hair? For example, Yoda in Star Wars, Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, Dumbledore in Harry Potter, Rafiki in The Lion King, the fairy godmother in Cinderella. All these characters, these wise characters, they all have gray or white hair. Or friends, think about the great people in the Bible. You have Noah, you have Moses, King Solomon, all very wise people. Or friends, how about the being who is the wisest in the entire universe? God the Father. You ever seen a painting or a picture of God the Father with black hair or brown hair or red hair or blonde hair? No. Every painting and picture shows God the Father depicted with gray or white hair. You see, wisdom is something that is gained from experience. We know this, right? For example, when you put your hand on a hot burner and you burn your hand, you gain wisdom from that experience. In other words, you learn never to do that again. Now, friends, here's the key. Just like experience, wisdom is something that is also meant to be shared, particularly with the younger people in your life. For example, think back to all those movies and shows and books. Yoda shares wisdom with Luke Skywalker. Gandalf shares wisdom with Frodo. Dumbledore shares wisdom with Harry Potter. Rafiki shares wisdom with Simba. The fairy godmother shares wisdom with Cinderella. All of these wise people, they share their wisdom. Wisdom is meant to be shared. So here's my second encouragement for you this morning. Take a look. What wisdom do I have that I can share with the younger people in my life? In other words, when my kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews and the young people I work with, the young people that live next door to me, when they make a mistake or when they go through a tough time or when they're dealing with something, if they're not sure about a decision they need to make, what can I say to them that will encourage them and challenge them and help them along this journey of their life? You know, back in 2015, Pastor Paul asked me to consider going into pastoral ministry. And at that time, I started to ask a bunch of people about it. I just wanted some wisdom on whether this is something I should do. And I'll never forget this one Sunday I was up at what used to be our East Bay campus, and I just got done teaching a Bible study, and we had church right after that, and there was this new gentleman to the group, and so I talked to him after the service, and as we were talking, I found out that he was a retired pastor. And I said, oh, well, now that you mention that, I said, I've been prayerfully considering whether or not to go into pastoral ministry. What are your thoughts? And I did not expect what he said next. He said, if you're thinking about going into pastoral ministry, here's my advice. Don't do it unless you're willing to go down a hard road. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, when you're a pastor, people have all sorts of problems and pretty much all the time, and they expect you to have the answers to all of them. And the times that you don't, they're going to criticize you. People are going to talk about you. In other words, if you want to become a pastor, you have to have really thick skin. And friends, as he was saying this, I realized in that moment, this wasn't his opinion. He was speaking from experience. In other words, this was wisdom that he was sharing with me. And you know what? To this day, I am so thankful that he shared that with me because it has been so important as I walk along this journey that God is leading me on. You see, friends, gray hair is the splendor of the old. And when you share wisdom with the younger people in your life, God can use those conversations to make an amazing impact for his kingdom.